Have you ever wondered why some styles feel timeless, while others scream trend of the moment? Understanding the difference between old money and quiet luxury can help us refine not only our wardrobes, but also our approach to elegance. Let's break it down together. What is quiet luxury? Quiet luxury is the art of subtle sophistication. Think of it as a style that whispers instead of shouts. It's not about loud logos or flashy branding, but about high-quality craftsmanship and timeless design. This aesthetic leans into simplicity and focuses rather on clean lines, neutral tones, and high-quality materials like cashmere, silk, and leather. If you've ever admired a perfectly tailored coat or a handbag that looks basic yet perfect, chances are you've met the good old-fashioned of quiet luxury. This style is about wearing pieces that blend smoothly and seamlessly without screaming for attention. Brands like the Row or Loro Piana come to mind, labels that prioritize quality and design over overt branding. You wouldn't know their worth unless you know, and that's precisely the charm of it. A fun way to think about it, if you don't want to look like a disco ball walking into a room, quiet luxury has your back. What is old money? Now, old money, on the other hand, is not just an aesthetic, it's a way of life. It reflects generational wealth, family heritage, and a deep-rooted sense of tradition. Old money style is less about following trends and more about maintaining a classic, timeless wardrobe. Think Ralph Lauren's purple label, vintage heirlooms, or even family jewels passed down through generations. Unlike quiet luxury, which anyone can adopt, old money is exclusive. It isn't just about wearing expensive clothing, it's about embodying a certain lifestyle that values tradition, restraint, and quality. For example, someone from an old money background might own a tailored tweed blazer, been in the family for decades, still as relevant today as it was 50 years ago. Key difference between the two, quiet luxury is about personal choice, while old money is often a matter of birthright. You can buy into quiet luxury, but old money, you either have it or you don't. The appeal of both styles. And why do these styles captivate us? For one, both represent a departure from fast fashion's disposability. They encourage us to invest in fewer, better pieces and focus on quality over quantity. But they also reflect deeper cultural values. Quiet luxury often appeals to those who prefer to live under the radar, while old money resonates with the allure of history and exclusivity. So, what draws you in more, the quiet elegance of quiet fashion or the timeless traditions of heritage style? Let's explore further in the next section. Examples and everyday application. Let's paint a picture of these styles in action so they feel less like abstract concept and more like something you can see or even embrace in your own life. Imagine you're at a cafe. Across the room, there's a woman who radiates quiet elegance. She's wearing a tailored blazer in a soft, neutral grey with perfectly fitted trousers and leather loafers that whisper quality with every step. She carries a tote bag, unbranded but undeniably luxurious. Her jewelry? Just a delicate gold bracelet and basic diamond studs. There's no flash, no fanfare. Her scarf, a hint of cashmere, adds just the right amount of chickness. Now, here's the thing. She's not trying to impress anyone. In fact, she might not even know you've noticed her. That's the magic of quiet luxury. It's the quiet confidence of knowing your clothes speak for themselves without shouting. Now shift scenes. You're at a garden party on the grounds of a home. A woman steps out of a vintage convertible in a white linen dress, a simple string of pearls and espadrilles that look like they've been everywhere from the Riviera to Nantucket. Her straw hat has a patina of summers past, and her leather bag bears the kind of scuffs that can only come from decades of use. She moves through the crowd with ease, not because of her outfit, but because of what it represents. It's not just a look, it's a life. That dress could be vintage Dior or something hand-sewn by a family seamstress. Either way, it's timeless and steeped in history. And there you have it. Quiet luxury is about subtlety and intentionality, while old money is about heritage and storytelling. Let me bring this closer to home. Imagine wanting to integrate these styles into your wardrobe without feeling like you're putting on a costume. Quiet luxury might mean investing in a white button-up shirt that fits you perfectly, paired with well-cut jeans and a tailored wool coat. You don't need a closet full of clothes, you just need the right ones. On the flip side, old money isn't about chasing trends, but embracing timelessness. Think of a blazer in houndstooth or plaid, something that feels like it's seen decades of history but still looks fresh. You might pair it with a family heirloom scarf, or even that vintage piece you found at a vintage shop that somehow feels like it's always belonged to you. Take Sophia Ritchie-Grange as an example. Her style embodies quiet luxury, with her focus on basic tailored pieces in neutral tones. She is all about elegance, all while not carrying a single visible logo. She's proof that you can look incredible without chasing fast fashion or loud trends. Then there's Catherine, Princess of Wales, or Kate Middleton to most of us. Her style leans toward the old money aesthetic, with designs from British labels and timeless jewelry pieces often borrowed from the royal vaults. Her wardrobe reflects her heritage and role, yet it always manages to feel approachable. Now, let's inject a bit of humor into this. Quiet luxury is like showing up at brunch with a $1,000 pair of loafers and pretending you just threw them on. Meanwhile, old money might argue, if my loafers haven't been through 3 family reunions and a meeting with Winston Churchill, are they even worth wearing? Both styles have their quirks and charm, but they're undeniably distinct. Which resonates more with you? Do you see yourself in the subtle elegance of quiet luxury, or is there a part of you drawn to the timeless heritage of old money? And here's the real question. Would you ever dare to thrift a designer handbag? Or are you holding out for one that comes with its own royal lineage? Let's meet in the comments. Modern culture. While quiet luxury and old money might feel like they belong to a bygone era or the glossy pages of high-end magazines, they're surprisingly relevant in today's world. Quiet luxury is having a moment, particularly as conversations around sustainability and ethical consumption take center stage. People are moving away from the idea of fast fashion, the endless churn of cheap, disposable clothing, and turning toward investment pieces that stand the test of time. It's no longer just about looking good, it's about feeling good about what you're wearing. There's an elegance in knowing that your cashmere sweater wasn't made in a factory where corners were cut, but rather it was crafted with care and intention. This shift toward quiet luxury reflects a growing appreciation for quality over quantity. In a world where we're bombarded with options, there's something refreshing about simplicity. It's the equivalent of decluttering your closet and realizing you don't need 5 pairs of the same jeans when one perfect pair will do. Old money, on the other hand, has a more complex relationship with modern values. Its emphasis on heritage and tradition can sometimes feel out of step with today's push for inclusivity and progress. After all, the very idea of old money is rooted in exclusivity. It's about belonging to a select group that's often defined by what you're born into, not what you achieve. Yet, there's a growing fascination with the old money aesthetic, particularly among younger generations. Why? Because in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain, old money represents stability. It takes us back to a time when life seemed simpler even if it wasn't. Wearing a blazer passed down from your grandmother or a strand of pearls inherited from your great aunt can feel like a way of grounding yourself in something bigger than the latest trend. This brings us to a fascinating point of overlap between quiet luxury and old money. Both are deeply rooted in the idea of timelessness. Whether you're drawn to the elegance of quiet luxury or the storied heritage of old money, you're rejecting the notion that fashion has to be fleeting. You're saying, I don't need the latest logo-covered bag or neon-colored sneakers to feel stylish. I can rely on pieces that have stood the test of time. And then there's the question of practicality. Quiet luxury enthusiasts often pride themselves on their minimalist wardrobes. But let's be honest, can you really live with just one perfect white shirt? What happens when it gets stained? Do you carry a backup? Meanwhile, old money types might have more clothes than they know what to do with, but they'll insist that each piece has sentimental value. Oh, this sweater? It belonged to my great uncle who once met the Queen, or was it the gardener? Either way, it's vintage. This playful tension is part of what makes these styles so interesting. They're aspirational, yes, but they're also deeply human. They remind us that fashion is more than just clothes. It's a way of telling a story about who we are and what we value. Take, for example, the resurgence of stealth wealth, a term often used interchangeably with quiet luxury. Shows like Succession have brought this aesthetic into the spotlight, with characters dressed in basic yet impossibly expensive clothing. Watching these shows, you might find yourself wondering, is that coat from Brunello Cucinelli? Or did they just find the world's most perfect vintage piece? Meanwhile, the old money aesthetic is big on platforms like Instagram and TikTok, where influencers post their old money lifestyles. You'll see them lounging on yachts, sipping tea in grand libraries, or strolling through manicured gardens. Of course, most of these influencers aren't actually old money. They're just borrowing the look for the sake of aesthetics. And who can blame them? There's a certain allure to the idea of living a life in tradition and elegance, even if it's just for a photo shoot. So, which resonates more with you? Do you see yourself sipping espresso in a sleek, minimalist look? Or are you more at home in a vintage tweed blazer, flipping through old photo albums? Whatever your answer, remember this: the best style is the one that makes you feel like the most authentic version of yourself. Stay chic.